What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Good to be back. Each and every episode is brought to you by All I Need. Please check out ALLiNEEDSKATE.com. That's where we host all our YouTube videos. Podcast goes up there. We also have our online skate shop, which if you would like to try an All I Need skateboard, I restock some up on there, so check them out. We got all types of graphics, different sizes are up there. We also have the most epic screen printed t-shirts are up there. We got brand new All I Need shorts for the summertime, some banners. You got socks, the best socks out for sure, man. Make sure to get a 6-pack of those. All types of goodie on the online store. Some breaking news for All I Need. This is my first time telling anyone about this. Figured I'd do it on the podcast. Saturday, July 10th, at Uxbridge, Mass. Skate Park, we will be hosting the All I Need Summer Jam contest. There will be a beginner jam at noon, 35 and over jam at 3 p.m., and advanced division at 5 p.m. Bug and Robbie have been building this epic monster ramp in the middle of the park, so we might do a best trick after the advanced division. Either way, it's going to be epic to see people throw down at Uxbridge. They've never done a skate jam at the park before. I'm stoked that we're going to be able to host it there. It's going to be $50 entry fee, but all the proceeds will go directly to the skate park fund to build more ramps. So I thought that was the win-win. You show up, pay your entry fee, get the jam, shred, maybe win some prizes, and then that money goes directly to the skate park. Your shredding helps build the skate park. Pretty epic. There is limited spaces in the jam, so sign up early at ALLiNEEDSKATE.com. Go to the online skate shop there and reserve your spot. Lock it in. That way you know you're in the game right there and you're supporting the park. Really excited for this jam. Hope to see you guys there. I will be on my mic. I will be out there. I'm bringing my PA system, so we'll have music bumping. There's always epic people that shred that park, and I will be on the mic. I will be announcing, so I'll see you guys out there. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. We have an exclusive offer for the All I Need listeners. You get 20% off plus free shipping with the code AIN at manscaped.com. If you're a mess downstairs and things are just getting out of control and you don't have the precise tools to just like clean up and feel so fresh and so clean, Manscaped has you covered. No more rusty ass scissors, no more using the buzzer that you use for your head downstairs. You can get yourself a Manscaped lawnmower, and this thing is sleek, it is smooth, easy to handle, on and off, super basic, got your charging port, thing works amazing, zoom, zoom, charges, holds a charge nice, and works excellent. So I would suggest getting one of these so you can get down there, clean up. Check out manscaped.com, use our promo code AIN at checkout. Get yourself 20% off and free shipping. And check out some of the ball toner too, man. If you're feeling a little rough downstairs, you need a little pick-me-up, give a couple squirts of this. You'll be clean, so fresh and so clean. My G's.
You are now tuning into the All I Need podcast.
But I'm just so glad it's skateboarding. It's been the one thing that came to me at the right time. It could have been anything that I imagined, but skateboarding was what it was. So I love skateboarding to death. That's right when I found skateboarding. Like my friend showed me and I was like latched onto it because it was the only thing at that time that was really fun and like my escape. And I fell in love with it, you know?
Now like this. So,
There we go.
okay, so check it out. That's my keys down there.
Oh no.
Actually, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's that's my fucking iPod thing, my AirPod things. That's the case down.
Oh, dude.
That's how my day's going. How you doing today?
Oh my God, dude. Does that
Yeah,
lift up? I wonder if that lifts up, bro.
I don't even know. At this point, I'm like, fuck it. You know what I mean?
I feel.
Fuck it. I've had worse problems.
Yeah. I've definitely been in that situation.
Yeah, it's a minor step back. I'll probably get some tonight or some shit. I don't know.
It's your
How are
it's
you
your,
though, bro?
I'm good, man. Just got some coffee in me, so I'm doing a little better, man, you know?
All right, all
All right,
right.
so the way I usually start this is I'll do a little introduction and then we can just get into it if you're down, man.
Okay, sounds good to me. However you feel, I'm
Yeah,
down.
it's we can talk about whatever. I kind of like wanted to start at the beginning and I just want to start with like where you grew up and stuff. But let me do a little introduction real quick.
Okay.
All right, so what's up, everybody? My guest today has had parts in Trilogy, Ride or Die for Aesthetics, 4-in-1. He's also put out his own full-length video called Minority Report. He has powerful skateboarding and a personality to match it. He also has done some writing in Big Brother. I've read all his pretty much everything I could find that you wrote. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
my guest today is legendary CLYDE Singleton, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, brother. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Just a little like I set a rule in the beginning, like so I didn't drink so much coffee. Is like whenever I podcast, I can have coffee. So I'm doing fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a little too much coffee. My earpods are in the sewer here in Gloucester or whatever the hell I'm at.
Dude, you said keys at first, and I was like, that's way
Yeah,
worse than
yeah.
you.
That's because my brain is just scrambling this morning. I'm like, man, you know what? Some dude's like, we can pick up the manhole cover, like with the fucking Ninja Turtles or something.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I'm cool, man. Yeah, I'm cool. So I was like, I don't even think I want them things now. Them things been down there telling us down there or living down there.
Yo, what you got to do is summon your inner MacGyver, get a stick, some bubble gum on the end of that bitch, fucking poke it down there.
Man. then put that thing back in your ear, get an earworm.
Yeah,
Like,
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, so I guess we could start with like, where are you at right now, man?
I'm downtown Gloucester. How do you say it? Gloucester?
What state? Where are we at?
I'm right up the street from you. I'm in Massachusetts.
Oh, Gloucester. Yeah, hell yeah, that's right. We were talking. That's so sick, man. What are you doing up here, man?
A friend of mine, she just had shoulder surgery this past Wednesday, I believe, and so I'm here helping her out for like a month. I'm just gonna hang out, do my thing here.
You been to Massachusetts before?
Yeah, I've been up here a long time. I came up here. I don't know if you remember the Strength Unity tour way back in 96, I believe.
Was it Strength Magazine?
Yes, it was the first Strength magazine when it was before I moved to LA. It was in Ohio. And so we did a tour, and Jamal, a bunch of other guys were on it. And they flew me into Boston, and I stayed with Jamal, hung out with him, Vanique, and all these guys. I'd known Vanique forever. And I came here and stayed and came back on tour with Aesthetics a couple years later. I like this place. It's cool.
Yeah, hell yeah. Jamal and Vanique are legends, East Coast legends up here, man. Let's see.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was last century, actually.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
It's so wild to think.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go back, man. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with like how you got into skating, what your family upbringing was like. What did your parents think of skating?
I mean, I'm on a pretty, I guess for back in Jacksonville, I had a pretty normal life. I grew up in the north side of Jacksonville. It's obviously a pretty rough area, but growing up, I didn't think it was nothing. I just thought it was, just how life was. We had our neighbors, had our friends, and neighbors watched out of everyone, and it was cool. It was real cool. Then started skating around 12 years old, and my neighbor he had a Nash execution, I remember. We were just hyped on like how colored and nice it looked. And and I borrowed it one day going to the bus stop, and I was like, yo, man, I was like, let me see. He's like, yeah, I'm trying this trick called a tic tac. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, I just jumped on this board and like I never forget that. Like I just kept tic tacking. Like I went like 3 or 4 bus stops up. I was like, man, this is awesome. And so yeah, from that point, I was hooked on skateboarding. That was it, man.
That's sick. Was there like a skate scene there at all, or?
I mean, this is the South, dude. You know, so everyone that skated back then. I mean, even realistically, man, looking back, it's like everyone that skated back in the day rode BMX before that. You know, so it was more of a big BMX community that kind of some transitioned into skating, some got hurt and were like, yo, this is too much. So you know, I think it was a combination of we were in the South, you know what I mean? Like we didn't really know much. We just knew the rich dudes had the ramps and that's how you had to skateboard, you know. So it wasn't really a scene, you know. It was like it wasn't really a scene until street skating came around, you know, unless you were one of them dudes that had the ramps and you were down with them dudes, there was no skate scene. It was just you and your buddies probably skating in some garage on a driveway or something like that, you know. So it was a little different back then,
Yeah.
you know.
How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like you were better off coming up in a skate scene where there was nothing really going on compared to if you started out in a spot where there was just the whole industry, you know?
Oh, 1000%, you know, because it drives your creativity. You know what I mean? Like you see stuff and you think of things differently. You know, you use your mind a lot differently than when we're actually available to have it. You know, like you think that board slide's like something in Savannah Slammer. You know, so you're just building bigger and better stuff, and we don't know how to build stuff. You know, we're building stuff. We think it's the coolest stuff to skate in the world, and it's probably some of the worst stuff to skate ever. So I mean, I think that's what kind of drove a lot of us to be good skateboarders, and you know, I think we're very fortunate to grow up in that time. To be honest, you know, it's a very fortunate time to there was a lot of creative people and we didn't have much to offer and we didn't have much to work with, but what we put out was incredible, you know, like the guys before us and even us, you know. It's really incredible to think back like, man, like we were doing some stuff on skateboards. Like I look at some stuff now, I'm like, there's no way I jumped on that thing. You know, like 91, 92, we're like, man, we're charging everything. And you know, you just have to adapt to a lot of things. We didn't have the perfect rail slides and the perfect boxes and the perfect skate parks. So like, if it wasn't wax, we'd just be pissed and go home. Like we had the parking lot, and that was it. You know, that was our universe. You know,
Yeah.
one little board slide bar could bring hours of joy. You know, like one parking block off of a curb could bring hours of joy, and I think that's a lot different. You know, when you grow up with that kind of stuff, it's a lot different. It's a lot different than playing an electric guitar and a regular guitar. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah. It's crazy. I started skating in New Hampshire and there wasn't much of a skate scene there either, but the same thing, man. Like we just thought whatever we were doing was the best thing we could do. And then we got tuned into magazines and stuff and we're like, whoa, there's a whole fucking world of people out there that are like, they've been on the shit for a long time, you know?
yeah.
It's crazy how many great skateboarders have come out of Florida though, too. It's amazing.
So underrated. You know, I mean, it's like, it's really funny because it's just one of the most underrated places in skateboarding. You know, it's like almost like, you know, like Jersey's underrated when it comes to hip hop. You know, like obviously Boston has a lot of awesome hip hop artists as well, and Philly as well. You know, there's always the Mecca, quote unquote. But you think about it from Florida, man, like the one for Florida, a lot of people wouldn't be doing a lot of stuff with skating. The Ollie wouldn't be around. Rodney Mullen wouldn't be around. You know what I mean? Like, so just those two in general, that's a huge part of skateboarding, you know, like that's an insane part of skateboarding.
Yeah,
And
skateboarding wouldn't be what it is without those two.
yeah,
Period.
without those two, you know what I mean? And like those two probably rep Florida. And it's weird. No one really thinks about a lot of that stuff. There's another guy from Florida that a lot of people will not know. And I'm interviewing him later today. And Ron Allen's actually from Jacksonville, Florida.
Wow, I didn't know that.
He was born in Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, I had a bet going with a friend of mine, and he's like, because I was telling him I was going to do Ron first. I was like, yeah, don't tell anyone. It's my buddy I grew up with. And he's like, yeah, you know Ron's from Jacksonville? And I was like, who told you that blatant lie? And he's like, no, 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 look, and he found some interview, and I was like, dude, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah,
That's so rad, man.
it's so cool. So it has a lot of rich history. From Lance Conklin, Mike Dare. You can just go to Buck Smith, Monty Noter, like I said,
Damn.
Mark Lake, Chuck Dinkins. A lot of the Zorlak guys are from Florida.
That's right,
Scott
Zorlak.
Stanton. Scott
Yeah.
Stanton's from Florida. Like Chris Markovich, Pensacola, Florida. Like it's just from everywhere. Felix Arguelles from
What?
Florida. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of guys that are like a lot of guys. I don't know if he came to Florida via Brooklyn. Like, I've never really gotten Felix's whole story. Like, I do know he spent a lot of time. When I was a kid, I knew him from Florida.
Yeah,
I thought he was I think he went from Florida to BK. You'd have to ask him that. I'm not very sure. But I
yeah.
always consider him a Florida guy.
Claim him. That's fine with me, bro.
I mean, hey, he's good people. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move forward a little bit in time. Like, you find skateboarding, you're in Florida. It's the skate seems like you're discovering skateboarding with all these people. Like, how'd you go through school and like move into like finding out about the industry and skateboarding and all the pros and magazines and stuff?
That happened very quickly. Because back then it was like skate shops were kind of a big thing back. Like they've always been a big thing, but they were more like the skate shop contest, which is weird now. The skate shops have contests, which I find very strange. It's like they wait for the bigger guys to have the contest, which I think kind of takes away from the essence of skating. It's like the neighborhood contest and those kind of things. That's a breeding ground. That is your social networking right there. You get down with those guys from crosstown and the other shop. And you guys are all skating together. That's how I met Kane and Neil and all those guys. And like we all got together and we we battled it out and we were all cool. We were all cool. It wasn't like there's no envy, no beef. We were all just like, oh, it was like, oh, these guys skate too, and we all linked up. And that's probably what's really missing from skating right now. That's where a lot of you see a lot of people and like I go on tour and see all these shops and they have beef with like other shops. And it's like, dog, y'all shall be working together. Because when I was a kid, that's what was up. Like the shops were our hub to meet people and to see the new magazines. And like you go up to the shop, you kick it up there for a couple hours with your friends, and it was dope. Like you're all looking at the magazine together. There's like 80 of y'all hunched over a magazine, and like you're all gonna go skating, and like that's dope. And like now people are too cool for that, and that's what got me into skateboarding was going to the skate shop and going to the local contest. Because if not for that, like I wouldn't have known anything about a skate scene. I probably would have given it up just skating by myself and not having people to like see and progress off of and see different styles like right in person, not on video or not anything. It's like you see it right there in real time and you hear about those guys and you're like, that's what gets you into skating a lot more, and like it's not like Instagram now. You're like, look at this video. It's like when you see someone like I remember seeing Kane Gayle for the first time. I was like, yo, that dude's good. I was like, yo, that dude's a beast, and like it pushed me, and like we push each other, and that's how skating. He introduced me to other people. We start going out of town to contests. He hooked me up with this surf shop way at the beach. I lived inland. I'd never been surfing in my life. Skating for a surf shop just because of Kane, and it's like that's kind of like my foundation of skating was the skate shops, and that's where I met everyone. The local skate contest was like everything.
We're doomed if skate shops don't carry forward, just because that's like authentic skateboarders doing it. Like someone who's willing to dedicate their life to like figure out a way to run a skate shop, which most likely isn't always the most profitable. It's kind of a grind, especially if you're doing it in some small town where you're trying to develop a community of people. Like, but you're so right about that. That's where you get to see skateboarding firsthand, because watching it online, like you're saying, is seeing it in person is like a whole nother vibe. Like you just feel it way more. So I totally agree with that, man. Skate shops are sacred.
Yes, they are. They're like, they're the last almost. They're almost the last of the Mohicans in a weird way. But what's cool, I mean, it's just kind of different now because it's strange. If you think about it, people would be pissed off if the shoe store sold skateboards. You know what I mean? But the skate shop operates almost like a shoe store. And people are like, they condone it almost, you know, and it's like, but if it were the other way around, people would be losing their shit. You know,
Yeah.
because when I was a kid, man, there was a couple of shops in the malls that had, you know, Life's Beach stuff and shit. People, oh man, it's fucking corny, stupid, you know. And like even when like dudes like CCS, remember when everyone's freaking out, CCS made their own stuff, and you know, like now that's just a thing. That's a normal thing. You know, it's like the skateboards are secondhand. The skate community is almost secondhand, you know, and that's why it comes back to like having local contests and having local events and getting the skateboards involved. Like if you can get a bunch of people to get up outside of your store and line up for some shoes, you should be able to get those same people to come to a skateboard event. You know what I mean? And like, and that's where the divide is right there. And a lot of people just don't want to acknowledge that. And that's going to be a kind of hard step going forward. There's a lot of good skate shops doing a lot of good things right now, you know, and there's just a lot that are, you know, they're literally living off just selling shoes, and that's a shoe store. You know what I'm saying? Like that's literally a shoe store. There's no getting around it. It's a shoe store that sells some skateboard stuff, and you know, I mean, it's like, a weird dichotomy.
Yeah, it's like when skateboard gets popular, everybody wants to get into it, whether they skated for 6 months or 17 years, and it's like those dudes who only been skating for a year but have the resources to open up a shop or whatever, and they kind of just like culture vultures, you know, they use skating as a way to sell some other shit, you know, and it's like,
or to make themselves more important in the skateboard community. You know, you see that a lot, and you know, a lot of these guys. Remember when we were kids, man? You're probably a little younger than me, but
I'm 38.
No one cared. Okay. All right, you're 10 years younger than me.
Hell yeah.
There's no one gave a fuck who worked at the shop when we grew up. You know what I mean? It was like some old dude that looked like he owned a fucking lumber shop. Yeah, like, no one cared who worked at the shop. The dude that worked in the shop did not care about having a new pair of Airwalks on and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just out the window. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't even catch that dude in there talking to you about price. And he'd be like, hey dog, $54 or beat it. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't gonna be haggling with some dude about some shoes or arguing with some dude about some raffle. And it's like, you guys just, it's weird because they've let the customer control them. You know what I mean? It's like they've let the consumer control the market, and that's when it becomes dangerous. You know, it's the same thing, not to go off track, but that's the same thing that happened with service industry. They just let the consumer run the market, and then next thing you know, it's like they're telling you what to cook and all that. And those same people ain't coming back all the time. I mean, that's not your bread and butter. You ran your bread and butter off trying to appease a couple of people. And that's what, you know, these skate shops are kind of doing that right now. And I'm not speaking on anyone in general. And it just seems to be a general theme that, you know, a lot of people don't rely on skateboards to run a skateboard shop. And that's ass backwards. You know what I mean? It's really ass backwards.
I agree I agree with that. Like, you see that just not outside the skateboard world too. You see that like the consumers are kind of dictating everything, which sounds like a good thing. But then when all these businesses are catering to a million different consumers, they don't actually have an identity. They're not actually striving. Like, same with skating. Like, if you have a skate brand and you're trying to listen to every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there instead of being self-driven and like focusing on skateboarding, the act of skateboarding, and you're just letting all these people tell you how to run your brand or how to run your shop, it's like you're going to be a slave to the numbers, you know, because you're going to be like, we need to do this and that. And you're just following the numbers instead of following the passion that actually got you to sacrifice everything to get to that point, to open up the shop and to like, because that passion is going to keep it open for, you know, like as well as I know that it's a long-term mission. You're going to like, you get into skating and you're like, I'm going to build something over 20 years and you're going to gain your style as you go because those hours and stuff. It's the same with like building a shop or a business or a community. It's a long-term thing and you get in it. And the thing that drives you is that fire, that passion for the thing you love, not necessarily the highs and the lows, you know, because you're going to have highs. And then if you're in it long, the lows are going to come. And hopefully the thing you love carries you through the lows to the highs. People get in and they're just chasing the money. They bail out the second the low comes, you know, we've seen that multiple times.
Yep. And I mean, it's sort of like being in a weird abusive relationship.
Perfect.
You know, it's like
that's perfect.
I mean, you got to think about it. It's like almost like when say like you get a really pretty girl. You know what I mean? You're like, man, I got this pretty girl. And the pretty girl's a skate shop. And the pretty girl's like, I need another ring. She's like, well, I like this dress too. And I like this dress. Then all of a sudden, when you can't get that pretty girl her dress, she's gonna you're gonna be sharing that girl with other people, you know. And it's like, and that's
Fuck.
literally that's that's literally the story of skate shop. Like they just can't figure it out. It's like they're in an abusive relationship with the consumer, and it's like when the consumer starts controlling the relationship, that's a problem. And a lot of people got to think it's like this ain't Burger King, dog. Like you can't have it your way everywhere you go unless you're as big as Burger King, you know. And a lot of these guys also, as you speak about the passion, they don't know any passion. They don't know what it's like to try something over and over and over until you actually get it, you know. And like that's passion. That's not like people call that crazy. That's crazy if you're dealing with a chick. You know what I mean? You keep trying over and over and over, and you're like, dude, this must be, I'm an idiot. She just has nothing to do with it. With skateboarding, there's always an outcome. You keep trying over, and you keep trying that trick, you keep trying that trick, and then bam, you get it. And then your passion is what gets you there, not the because you know how to do the trick, you know how to ride away from the trick, you know what it goes into the trick. But your passion of getting the trick and just getting it how you want it to and how you feel, people don't know that feeling. You know, they know instant gratification. Like, oh man, look, I got a building and it's got some stuff in it. And like, that's it. And then when people don't come around and hug you, you're like, well, what did I do wrong? And it's, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's a vicious cycle and a terrible relationship to have with yourself and with the customer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like most people are scared to dictate, to dictate their content or how they feel. And I think that's very important. You know, a lot of people lose. I think Ed Templeton's great with that. You know, I think he is awesome. Like he doesn't stretch for nobody. And like I think it's great. He's the smartest businessman I know. He's like, the dude draws a turtle on a napkin and he's like, in business like 30 years. That's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean, and like just because he believes in himself and like he believes in his passion, he's never bent for anyone, for no one. He's like, you know, I'm drawing like Ed Templeton. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, and like a lot of people just don't feel that. They're like, well, man, Supreme's doing good. I'm gonna do like a little Supreme type thing. Start folding my shirts up, and then people come in, unfold the shirt. They're like, man, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like for a lot of people that get into it, it's like all about marketing, and there's like a strategy, and it's not like for Ed or someone like that. It's just like, hey, this is what I do. This is my art, which I am my art, and this like I'm gonna just keep going and try to figure it out. It's not like they're not trying to trick people into consuming. It's just making authentic stuff. You know, it's amazing.
Yes, because he's had an identity before he became that, and I think that's very important. You know, like I was the same guy that you know, everyone sees now. Besides the drinking, I was the same guy when I was young. You can ask anyone in fifth grade. I was in fifth grade with. I was loud, brass, funny. You know, it was just like I'd always joke with people, super like big teddy bear. But I was just always the same person. So when skating and all this stuff came out, I was like, I just had to be me. You know, I just really had to focus on being myself. And now that I've quit drinking, I've focused on being a better person, a better version of myself, which is great. I like CLYDE 2.0 a lot better.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to sponsorship world. Like, when did you realize you were like good enough? Like, how did that happen? And getting into videos and magazines, like, take me through that story a bit.
I don't, you know, that's
because that's something that's something that like you have to pursue a little bit. You know, you have to, especially coming out of Jacksonville.
Well, I think what, you know, like, fortunately for me and unfortunately for me, there weren't very many black skaters. So that kind of, you know, like, and also just, you know, I was just really talent driven. You know, I was very, very talent driven. And, you know, all the guys around me, they were just really good. And we weren't really focused on getting sponsored. We were just focused on not having to buy skateboard stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, that was our main goal. We were like, dude, because we didn't know where it was going to take us. You know, we were realistic. We all had realistic parents. You know, like, hey, you guys know, like, that's way out in California, and you know, what I mean, like, we just, and it wasn't like they were talking down to us. They were just more protective of us. Like, don't get yourself too excited about something that you might let yourself down for. And, you know, a lot of us kept pushing. You know, and that's, I think, what really got me into it was, I would say, probably Kane and those guys, and John Montesi was a big help in the very beginning too.
Dude,
and,
Montesi, hell yeah.
Yeah, I remember all those guys came and stayed. Mark Oblo was actually the first guy that ever sponsored me, like put me in a magazine and stuff like that. So
What?
before that, yeah, I had like sales rep guys giving me stuff. Like Zorlak and Deadbolt used to give me some stuff. G&S would give me some stuff. Other than that, just skate shops. You know, I'd go to contests and win some stuff here and there. And other than that, man, I just had to hustle and get boards like everyone else. Like we'd be trading one shoe for the other, like everyone else, dude. You know, like it just happened. I stuck with my dudes.
Yeah,
Stuck with Kane and them dudes, you know, and it worked out.
it's a weird balancing act when you're like really, when you're at like your prime and you're skating and you're developing, you're getting good, and then your time is like you're working a job and you're like, I really wish I could just like put my all into this and like create video parts and magazines. And it's like a weird bet. That's half the drive for a sponsor, is so you can get that free time from like backbreaking labor, so you can actually indulge a little bit in your art and like create those parts that you dream about doing, you know. So having a sponsor helps in that sense.
Yeah, and then a lot of times too, you know, we were just like I said, we were very grateful for what we had. You know, like I remember shoe gooing huge chunks back on my board and like putting like rat nuts in my tail, just keep my tail apart, just so I could go skating. So like that kind of stuff builds a lot of character, you know, and it's like that's the stuff you would use to get to the next point. You know, it's like that's what you felt like you had to use that. You know, our parents couldn't afford skateboards. Skateboarding was not a sport for people without money.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't understand that. Like the 80s and all that, that it was not made for people without money, man. Like you had to have money to have the ramp, to even have the magazines and stuff. You know, so like our parents were regular working class people, man. My mom worked at Popeyes. You know, she worked doubles every day and she became manager, you know, when I was a kid and ended up owning her own one. But
Wow.
we didn't have money for that kind of stuff. You know, she's a single mom of 2 kids and they were going to school and like we want all the cool stuff and it just wasn't very attainable, you know, so we just had to do with what we had. And, you know, and luckily we had good friends around and, you know, skating was so different, man. You know, like we had good friends. It was like, I always tell people, we built the ramp together, we skate the ramp together, we eat at the ramp together, and we walk each other home at night together. So we all made sure, like, if one person had a raggedy board, we'd all just make sure you know, I got an old board here and there, let's get the tail put together for them, or, you know, that was just a very important part of it.
Yeah.
Very important part of my upbringing and getting me sponsored and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think I was around 15, 16 when I first got sponsored. Started skating when I was 12.
It's good
that
to
happened really quick.
It's good to come into it from that angle, because if you're just grinding it out and you're shoe gooing everything and you're making shit last, and then you get the opportunity for someone sending you some boxes or sending you on a trip, it's like you're definitely not going to take it for granted, because you know back to Struggle Street, you know, like
oh yeah. Struggle Street is a real thing, my man. Like,
oh, I know,
it's so
man.
funny. I still to this day, brother, I still to this day, like, I get huge boxes of stuff and I'm like, I just be looking at my friends, I'm like, what do they think I'm gonna do with all of this stuff? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like I'm a regular old dude, man. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't the type of dude to switch my wheels out every 3-4 days. Like, I'm a regular old dude, man. I grew up skating like everybody else. Like, I might switch my board up, like, you know, if I feel it's a little soggy, but I pass it off to someone.
Yeah.
But it's like, I wear the same shirts for, yeah, I'm a regular old dude, man. Like, I get these huge boxes and I'm like, I didn't grow up like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you, man.
That's real, you know? It's like, it's not that you don't appreciate it, but I usually pass it around to my friends. But 9 times out of 10, you can ask anybody who hangs out with me, man. I think it's from just the way I grew up. It's like, I'm thankful for what I do got. And, you know, and if I do get a lot more, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I didn't grow up like that, you know, and that doesn't, having a bunch of stuff does not define me. You know, I'd rather pass it around and we can all go skate and get some cool stuff. You know, that's how it was when I was a kid. And Kane used to hook me up with boards. Like, we were always all cool. You know, it was a great thing.
Kane Gale's so good, dude. I remember watching his clips and just seeing what he was doing, and it's very cool. What was the tie with Kane? Who was he riding for or working for at that time back then?
I mean, it's funny, but he's gonna hate me for telling y'all this, guy. Yeah.
Nice. I like this.
Yeah, Kane's gonna be pissed when I tell you this. But don't be pissed, Kane. Kane is when I first met Kane, oh my God.
What's going on out
Anyways,
there?
I can see these ladies. I can see these ladies duty chopper.
Nice.
But Kane fucking when I first met him, Kane worked at a roller rink.
Sick.
I mean, I knew when we were kids, but then Kane had the little brown, I think it was a Corolla or something. It was like a little 88 Corolla. It's something. We thought it was the greatest thing in the world. But Kane worked at this roller rink. So we don't have to wait for Kane to get our work, get our roller rink shirt on. Like, I think he has footage in it. So, yeah.
He's good with the Lysol.
So pissed. He's going to be so pissed.
He was probably nice with the Lysol, like spraying the skates after.
I think he could do all like the rubber legging and all that. He was like, remember the movie with T.I.? I think Kane was like the white T.I. He was like the dude in the roller. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was my dude though, man. Kane skated for the shop called Sunrise Surf Shop, and Kane hooked it up. We'd always get a contest out of town together, Daytona, down in Tampa, like all these AM and FASO contests, and that was just my dude, and I'd go out to the beach, and his mom loved me. Rest in peace. His mother was great, man, and she'd be like, "You want some cookies?" I'd be like, "Hell yeah, I want some cookies." I used to love going to Kane's house. He always had a good snacks, and his mom loved me. Shout out. That was my dude back then, man. So yeah, that was what was up.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, that's all good. Yeah, man, that's sick. Kane's a legend too, man. That's so sick.
Yes, he is. He is a Jacksonville, Florida, and just a skateboarding legend, man. Like a lot of people forget. Like Kane was one of them dudes. Was like he was nice. He was dual lateral. He was good in the streets and respected in the streets, and he was a good contest skater, that's from the 90s, man. There wasn't a lot of dudes that was, like real nice at both and just like consistently nice at both for a while. And Kane was one of them dudes. Kane was up there. He was one of the top 10 dudes for a minute. No ifs, ands, or buts. Kane was one of the best skateboarders. Like he was one of them dudes, and he was one of them guys and got tapped. He was a dude. He was on DC and all that stuff. Like Kane wasn't some like fly by night dude. It's like Kane was the truth, man, and he did a lot for me with skating. That's my brother right there. I love that guy.
Well, so like I'm 10 years younger than you. So growing up, man, I was watching you and Kane and like studying those videos and seeing everything you guys were doing. And like, that was a huge influence on me. So definitely he was killing it, He had a long run too.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He's doing, I guess he's doing like, he's old Kung Fu Kane now. Like, yeah, Hong Kong Fu Kane.
Sick.
Like he's doing, I think he's a UFC dude. I might want to quit joking. Kane might fold me up.
Yo, for real. He's gonna bring up the roller skating. He's like, that roller skating shit, Clyde. Fucking lock you up, choke you out real quick.
Break my clavicle. Be looking real soft in these streets.
That makes sense to me that he's into martial arts, because that kind of ties into like the same discipline as skating. You got to like repetition, figure it out. Like, I feel like he's got it, bro.
I wonder if he could probably do both now. He could probably he could probably do like some UFC like roller skating. That'd be dope.
Damn, you might have just made something new right there. That's
like what I'm saying. I could be the host like when Snoop Dogg was on the UFC.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
All right, so how do we get out of Florida? Where do we go from Florida?
Florida, I actually jumped in a car with. The first time I went to California, I went with my buddy Robert Camp, Bear Hughes, and we picked up James Riff on the way.
James Riff was sick, dude. He used to write for DNA, right? James Riff back
Yes, James Riff lived in Jacksonville for a bit. He was another guy skating with way back in the day. Cairo's from Jacksonville. There's a lot of people from Jacksonville, man. Cairo Foster from Jacksonville.
What?
Like, there's a lot of dudes. Yeah, dude, there's a lot of dudes from Jacksonville that people just don't put two and two together, but it's very funny. But it was me, James Riff, but we picked up James at skate park of Houston. This is before it shut down, the old blue one. Picked him up. He was living in the back, his old musty room in the back. Right, picked him up and we dropped him off somewhere in San Diego, and I think he just became DNA dude after that. Like years after that. But him and then me and Bear and my buddy Robert, we all went up to San Jose, and Bear knew some chick. You know, that was my first time, and I think it was in '92. I'd still skated for, at the time, I still skated for Acme. And I went out there and I went out there and stayed in San Jose, and then somehow I linked up with Jamie Thomas and them. And that was the time I drove them myself. I linked up with Jamie Thomas and those guys and that stuff. And Drake Jones and all those guys. And that's pretty much what, that's pretty much how it went down. I remember all those guys turned around and from Jacksonville, and I was like, fuck that, I'm staying. I just said straight up, I'm staying, dude. I was like, I came out here for a reason.
Yeah.
So all those guys went, and I just stayed, and yeah, it worked out, man. You know, I slept in Mike Santa Rosa's closet for a while.
Damn.
Yeah, but I had a rough thing. It was rough, you know, but I stuck it out, dude. You know, I stuck it out. That's all you had to do.
Did you find a job, or were you just hustling that time?
I was pretty much just like, dude, I remember staying at Caesar Singh's house. Him and what's that little dude's name? Looked like Jason Dill. Skated for is it Sage Francis or Sage something? His name, little dude, skated for Santa Cruz. His name was Sage something, but he lived with Caesar Singh. I remember staying at those guys' house, and I had like $10 to my name or something. I went and bought like a 2-liter soda, a bag of potatoes, and like something. That's literally all I borrowed money from my mom. Like I'd call my mom and like, yeah, I got a little bit of money, and every once in a while I try to flip some boards, and yeah, man, I just roughed it out, dude. Stayed with the TSA guys. Those guys took good care of me, and I just had some good friends back then that really looked out for me. I had little to nothing, and would just skate my heart out, you know. Like,
yeah.
Hopefully one day I was just like, man, hopefully one day. And yeah, then eventually I ended up going home, and Mark Abbo was my team manager on Acme, and he had quit. This is around the 93 Munster, 93 or 94 Munster. I can't remember which one, but before the Munster contest, I remember it was about a year before. He's like, man, I want to introduce you to Kareem Campbell. He's like, Kareem will hook you up. And I was just like, really? Like, Kareem? Like, yeah, man. He's like, Kareem will hook you up, man. He's like, man, you guys get along great. And I was like, I thought the dude was tripping. You know, I was like, what? And sure enough, man, like I ended up in Munster in 93, I think, and my first pro contest. It was 93 or 94. And Mark walked me up, introduced me to Kareem. And, you know, Kareem's like, all right, I'll take your number. And then he just whisked off into Kareem world. I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. Kareem just talked to me in front of like 50,000 people there. So this is a crazy contest. These contests are crazy. Like
yeah,
like 20, 30,000 people in the crowd. I'm like, yo, you know, this is my first pro contest too. And I'm in Germany. I'm like talking to Kareem about possibly getting off the company that got me there. So yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So I got back and I was just sitting in my house, man. I'm sorry, Rodney Mullen just gave me a call one day.
Wow.
Like random. Like I remember my niece, she's like, hey, there's some man named Rodney on the phone. I was like, who? She's like, some man named Rodney on the phone. I was like, all right. So picked it up and it was Rodney talking. I was like, he's like, yeah, and it was a Venice contest. He's like, yeah, Kareem wants to fly you out. All these guys want to meet you. Possibly, you know, check you out, put you on the world teams. And I was like, what? So like not even a week later, I was off to a plane to LA, took like a bus or a shuttle to Venice and got dropped off in the craziest neighborhood and just skated around. This is like 94. I'm probably sure like 94 or some shit, maybe top of 95. I was in Venice in the hood. These dudes just dropped me. Some dude just dropped me because I didn't know where I was going. And I skated around with all my bags and I kept asking people like, yeah, I heard there's some skateboard contest. And it was the one where Kareem's doing a big backside flip on the hip and there's a car there too. But all those dudes were there. Like Pecky, Joey. I just remember walking up being like, yo, what? I mean, because at this point, I was a pro skater, but I was pro for Acme. I'll be honest with you, I was pro for Acme, and they didn't do shit for me. You know what I'm saying? Like they really didn't do nothing for me. After Mark left, it was just like
It was like in title
You
only.
know, I mean, it was when Mark. I mean, literally, I'd go in and get some clothes and some boards, but nothing crazy, And like I was pro for all of them companies. It was Acme. It was Acme. What were the wheels? Formula One and Standard Trucks. Pro for all three of them.
Wow.
Didn't get nothing. Never got nothing. I was like, and then I was trying to flip the shit, and people weren't really like trying to see that shit, and I didn't really. I'm just like, oh, like, hey, Bob, like, hey, dog, I got some trucks, some Standard Trucks. Catch me, look at me like, you can keep them shits.
They're like, that's the standard shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I didn't really know. I was just like a kid, and like, I was just happy to be getting stuff, and it didn't blind onto after a while. I was staying at my mom's house. I'm like 18, like they're like hustling, like I'm just like, what the hell? And like all my friends that are pro, I'm like, damn, these dudes are traveling, getting money, and like, the hell? And I'm like begging for money to go to a contest in Philly, and like the one in Newburgh, and luckily Paul Urick and Jeff Reeves. Paul Urick was also my teammate. I believe Jeff Reeves rode for Formula One, but Paul, we all made it to the NSA finals. So what we did is we went to Love Park contest, and then we went to Newburgh a little bit after that, and then after that we went to NSA finals. And I rode in the back of a 3-door. What are those fucking cars? A Saturn.
Nice.
I laid in the back of a 3-door Saturn and rode across America to get to California and went to the NSA finals. And from that point, I kind of stayed out there. Yeah, and that's where everything kind of took off.
Yeah,
there was like a weird window between the Kareem and NSA thing. So there was like, I think the NSA thing happened a little before Kareem. And I was still, I was obviously still on Acme at the time. So the Munster contest was that next summer. So that would have been 90, either 94. It's so long ago, man. I feel like I'm like talking about Vietnam and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, damn, man, I feel bad for like all the OG dudes trying to remember stuff. I'm like, damn, dude. Them dudes on rock their heads on like many and hit their coconut like 50 times on board slides and fucking backyard pools. So, I'm trying to remember just based off what I think. And I'm like, man, like, but around 94 was when I officially touched down in California. And, I'd been out there once before, like I said, but it didn't really work out. Then I went back out and kind of stayed out with the TSA guys. And, I was sleeping in the warehouse. And then Kareem called me one day, just like out of nowhere. Like, yo, man, he called the dude from TSA. I don't know how he found me. Somehow that dude could always find me. He's like, hey, man, I want you to come up tomorrow. And the TSA dudes were all psyched. We were all hyped. We were in a van. And we were all psyched. It was like, just thinking back on that shit. It's just, it gets me like inside because we were like all kids, and like it was just an awesome time to be alive, and like, all your friends are in the van and they're just all hyped for you. And they're like, yeah, man, you fucking, yeah. They're like, you fucking did it. Yeah. Like, they're like hyped, like, you're going to meet Kareem and like this, like Mike Judd and all the guys. And like, dude, it's just, it seriously, it kind of gets to me. Like, it's awesome to just remember that, like I always remember that, like always, no matter what. And they dropped me off and everybody hugged me up and Kareem and them dudes pulled up and the rest is history, dude.
That's that's the vibes I get from that is like the skaters are kind of running the mat.
Here's some water for you.
Thank you, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, that was kind of the vibes I get when you get to like World and Kareem at that time is like the skaters are kind of running the crazy house at that time. Is that kind of what was going on? It was like all you guys were kind of dictating what was going on?
I mean, not really. They just had a lot of respect for us. You know what I mean? Like they weren't like it's like, it's a different thing dealing with, a lot of those guys that were working there, the guys that skated, the freestyle skaters and shit, like Pierre and, Frank and Rodney, obviously, and Steve, those guys were always different than the vert guys. You know, like so like they understood us a lot more because they were always the outcast. So you know, like a lot of them guys just didn't understand us. And they didn't feel the need to understand us because they didn't have to grow up around us. They didn't have to be around us unless they wanted to pay us. You know what I mean? And like they didn't care about us. They cared about our talent, and that's it. You know, and like guys like those guys, they had more in common with us. Even if they didn't care about us, they knew where we were coming from. You know what I mean? And that in itself is what sets guys like Rodney and Rocco and those guys apart from these people, because they knew what it was like to be an outcast. You know, like people didn't like them for no reason, you know, and it was like they were almost being bullied on skateboards. You know what I mean? And it's funny to think back on because they ended up bullying the bullies, which I thought was great. You know, I think that's the most remarkable story of World Industries and of Steve and all those guys is they ended up like they got the last laugh. You know what I mean? And like that's a very important tale that a lot of people don't understand out of that, because those guys were getting bullied. Those guys were like made fun of, and you know, they weren't as cool, and that's lame. Bullying is lame, and like that's you know, it's not gatekeeping. That is like, you know, like that's just not acknowledging them as skateboarders almost, you know, and like those guys went through that, and like so they knew what it was like for a bunch of street skaters to come around and not. And you know, we were the underlings, we were the outcasts of the skateboard world. You know, we were the guys that they would have just picked up and thrown away and replaced us. But Steve and those guys were like, no, how about this? Fuck you. And like I like the way that all those guys before me, man, like I never in my life thought I would have ended up on 101, dude. Like that's never in my entire life. You know, I grew up watching all these videos and studying it. Like, you know, I could tell you every trick. I could tell you where the music hits. Like, I was such a skateboard nerd growing up. And just to even fathom that was like, I just would have never thought I'd be on that team. You know, like never in my wildest dreams would have ever thought like, yeah, one day, you know, I'll be living with Nodis and be on 101, and that never, ever in my life. And it happened, you know, and it just happened organically. And because those guys they understood us. So with that, it made us feel a lot more comfortable in expressing ourselves on the skateboard. And, you know, and it wasn't as wild as you think it was. You know, a lot of us were just, there's a lot of stuff I'm just not going to speak on. You know, there's a lot of stuff I just feel like I don't want to be the guy that's snitching on stuff. You know, it's like, you know, there's a lot of stuff. It went both ways, you know, like us getting a lot of products, and that went both ways. You know, like it wasn't just so shut and closed. A lot of people think we weren't just running up into some multi-million-dollar business, grabbing a bunch of stuff and no one knew. And like, you know, like they were just making so much stuff, you know, it was like almost like they were making a killing on skateboarding, you know? So it was like us grabbing like 20, 30 boards, that's nothing to them. You know what I mean? That's like,
and like and the skaters are the heartbeat of the whole plan. You know, it's like if you support those dudes, they're going to be the biggest mouthpieces, and their footage and everything's going to continue to push the brand and sell the stuff, you know? So it makes sense, you know?
I mean, in a lot of ways too, it's like, you know, we were getting money, we were getting paid, but and like we were well taken care of, you know. Like when I got down with Nodis and those guys, the first thing Nodis did was cut me a check. You know what I mean? I can't say that for like, you know, I cannot say that about Jim Gray at Acme. I don't think he ever cut me one check. I know he did never cut me one check. You know, so it's like if he takes his personal, oh well, that's on him. You know, it's like just do right the first time. You don't gotta have people talking about you like that. And you know, Nodis did right by me, and Sal did right by me. All these guys did right by me, and like I'm not hurt by it, but it's the truth of things. And going back to World, it was, you know, getting that much stuff wasn't nothing. You know, we had to pay rent. We had to, like, you know, we had weed habits.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, all that weed wasn't gonna buy itself in the Menace videos and the one-on-one shit. You know what I'm saying?
I totally get it.
All the chip phones weren't gonna buy themselves. You know what I mean? So like, There's a there's a lifestyle wage and a living wage, and we had the lifestyle wage down to a pat, So, but it was good times, and like a lot of before I even got on, Kareem really took care of me for like a year. And if he wasn't taking care of me, he would. It was funny. He would like put me on a train and send me down to Deerdix. It was like they were like my surrogate parents. You know what I mean? It was like one would drop me off and another drop me off, and they'd be like they'd check up on me, and it was cool. Like they wanted the best for me. And thinking back, they really wanted the best for me, and like. I did a lot of knucklehead shit. We all did, but I can't thank both of them guys enough. They did so much for me in skateboarding. I can't even begin to thank Deerdick or Kareem enough. And it's kind of an unspoken thing. Like I last time I was out in Cali, like I went by Rob, shot pool, and it's just like I don't feel like I need to. Like, hey man, Rob's my buddy, or Kareem's I get them their props, and like we know what's up, and that's all that matters to me. I think that's what's most important is I don't have to show off my friends and my friendship.
It's amazing that those dudes like put in the work and built their identity and chased what they wanted, and then they actually helped other people out. That's what makes them legendary, is they help the next. So we need those dudes. Yes,
and they did and it's there was times when. Man, there was times there probably was like 10 or 12 people staying up in Deerdick's crib, and this wasn't some old dirty ass, like this wasn't Newell House. You know what I'm saying? So, no disrespect to my people at Newell, but this is some prime real estate down in Pacific Beach. You know what I mean? Like right on the beach, 2-story condo, real nice, big screen. We had the Sega Genesis hockey, we were living it up, man, and like those. And just to think like that, it's like a lot of guys ain't like that, and they're not, man. I think what I think's really cool about that, and not to get off subject,
it's all right.
People say what you want to about Nyjah, but that dude makes sure his people are straight, and that to me is so important. It's like because a lot of people don't do that. They get on and they're like. Cool. They meet them some chicks and like they're out. He kept his people right there with him. All them dudes he was skating with growing up, David and Domona. I think it's dope how they's right there with them. And it's like, because you don't see that much anymore. Like you saw that a lot when we were kids, and like you see it now, and it's like they have to be on the same team. It seems really forced when you see that, but you don't see a lot of that now. You really don't, man. And it's I think it's very cool to see like a network of people skating together, and it's really organic, not like like you see them hanging out, and you're like, man, they're actually really cool. Like I think that's awesome to see, man. Everyone's too cool to hang out with their friends or until it's like time to be seen on the gram or something. I think that's really awesome of him. Like the dude's obviously loaded, can do anything he wants to. Can be hanging out with anybody he wants to. He chooses to hang out with his skateboard buddies. That is awesome to me. That's just me, but I think that's awesome. I think it's amazing.
I can't knock it. I make fun of Nyjah just because he's the king of the castle, so you got to always just watch the top and make sure they're good to people, and it's good to hear that.
Oh yeah. He's good to people. A lot of people don't like his shorts, but I'm coming for them shorts. That's me. I'm coming for them shorts. I know you see my legs and my clips. I'm looking sexy out here. I'm coming for them. I'm telling Nyjah, I'm coming for them shorts.
You gotta go a little shorter than him just to dethrone him. Just go like an inch or two shorter just to have that.
Nah, dog. I have my elephant trunk to be hanging out. I can't be doing all that.
Yeah. You'll make a statement. That's how you make a statement, dude. When the testicles drop out.
I was already naked in the video before. Let's not do this again.
You ain't scared, bro.
Yeah, I'm cool on that. My mom might be watching this time, so I'm cool.
Yeah. True. It's not as. No,
go ahead.
It's not as cute when you're a little older either. Like it's just like a little different game.
No one wants to see my 46-year-old balls.
Okay, let's kind of move forward a little bit and maybe we'll jump back again. Also, I wanted to make sure, like, I know you're outside. I don't know how your battery is, so keep an eye on your battery in case.
I think I'm good right now. I think I should be good.
Okay, cool. If it gets close where we got to cut it off, we can always come back another time. But
Okay.
let's jump forward to modern day. Like I know we were talking a little bit about a new project that you're starting to craft and build, and maybe take me through your thought process with this whole radio show / podcast that you're building.
Well, I originally wanted to do a. Alfonso actually talked me into all this first and foremost.
Alf.
Yeah, what's up, Alf? That's my man. But Alf's the one like, hey man, you need to do some like video stuff, like, and I'm like, Alf, I hate being on video. I was just like, I just don't want, like, I look at those kind of things and I just personally can't, I'm just like, I don't want to watch myself on video. I've already watched myself on video, and he's like, man, you just got to do it. And I was like, so I made a little TikTok, and I was like, man, I can't do this. I went to get some skate clips. So I started putting together some skate clips, and then I started doing the Black History thing. And a lot of people were like, you should put this into a book, something. And at first, when I was doing the first half of the month, I got really I was trying to get frustrated because I was trying to do a lot of them. I was trying to do a whole bunch of them at one time, and it just became like a task, like a chore, And I was like, man, I was trying to cram all the stuff in, and literally, I noticed I started doing it for the wrong reasons. I wanted to chase, like people, oh, you should do this guy, and it's just like I wanted to keep adding on. I was like, I don't know why I did this. I was just like, oh man, now I got myself in this concubine. I feel like I got to do this every day and 2 or 3 things, the Black History thing. So I was like, dude, I should just do a podcast and like talk about it, and get some of these guys on the line and have them kind of tell their story. And then I started thinking, and I was like, I know a bunch of people that do music, and I know a bunch of people to interview. And I was like, well, actually, I'm going back on the road and doing a pop-up tour, and I could do live podcasts and all these things. And I was just like, you know what, dude, just do the podcast. I was like, because I feel like it's something that, for what I want to do, it's something I'm really into. I'm into skateboard culture. I'm into all the people that are into the culture of skateboarding and what makes skateboarding cool, and a lot of stuff that people don't know about with skateboarding that I find cool and interesting, and and it's stuff that I find cool and interesting. It's stuff that I want to do, and there's still people I want to talk to about stuff with skateboarding and the skateboard industry and just their upbringing. And I know there's tons of stories I still haven't heard, and that's just stuff. And these are people who I feel are the heroes of skateboarding. They're the underlining heroes. There's heroes, and then there's the heroes that make the heroes the heroes. And these are the guys that make the heroes the heroes. Like, you always know about the guy that flew the fighter jet. You don't know about the guy that commanded the fighter jet, or the guy that helped build the fighter. You don't know about that kind of shit, because like people, they don't seem to care, and it's like that kind of stuff is interesting to me. I think it's very interesting to me, like old skate park stuff, and old, Alyasha is just an encyclopedia of knowledge and history, from clothing to skateboards to music to, and how it all ties together. And like, I didn't know a lot of this until I met him, and I was just like, wow, so there's a whole nother side of skateboarding. A lot of people just don't, I feel like it needs to be heard and seen. And, like a lot of stuff, it's a lot of stuff you do too. You do a lot of cool, like culture-based stuff. And a lot of people don't tap into that, like they want to wait for like, who's the most famous guy from Boston, and when's he going to get on Anthony's show? It's like, and I think that kind of takes away from the culture of it. There's a lot of guys here that those guys probably talk about, and like people are like, who's that guy? And just forget about him a week later. Well, those are the guys who I want to talk to. And that's what I find interesting with skateboarding. And the whole format is going to be a 70s style radio. So it'll just be, where back in the day where the DJ knew the band, and they call like sort of like this, you call, you talk to people, and, like we know each other, we can have a casual conversation. It's not weird. You're like, so man, what's your favorite color? I wanted to get past all that. You know what I mean? Like, man, like that one ad is, I don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. Like that kind of stuff is already covered, and it's done very well. You know, I
Yeah.
just want to talk to these guys. And like a lot of unknown, Ron Carnegie is a guy I've always wanted to talk to. And like, a lot of people forgot about him. And that dude's like, he's a true East Coast legend.
Yeah.
You know, like he was putting it down before people were screaming East Coast and all that. He was like literally an East Coast legend. You know, and like he was one of the guys a lot of people would have never thought that he was from the East Coast or just couldn't put two and two together, would have never thought he's from Jersey. And I have no idea about him. It's just like this guy should be celebrated.
Yeah.
You know, like when I see him, I see Rob Welsh, I see him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I see guys, you know, I see like Scott Johnson, I see him. You know, and so you
Wow.
just see little shades of people, and you know, like you pick it up, and like you know, like Chris Hall is another great guy. I'd love to get on. Fred Reeves, man, if I can
The
get Fred Reeves
man,
on,
the fucking man.
man, if Fred Reeves is my ultimate interview, man. That is just the guy who, just from me being a kid and having his placings taped to my wall at contests, little pictures of him just taped all around my wall. And, you know, that was like my hero growing up. Like he was in Georgia, you know, and I was just like, oh man, this black guy from Georgia. And so that kind of stuff just, you know, interests me, man. Like I'd really love to talk to these people and talk to the movers and shakers of the industry and the people that matter to the people that matter in the industry.
Yeah.
That's my angle on it, you know, and that's where I'm going with it. You know, that's going to be awesome.
So from my angle, I'm really happy that you're taking on this project because, like I said, I grew up like reading what you wrote and watching you in videos, and like it's cool that we need people like you to continue on to take on that role, because there's a lot of skaters that they're not gonna, like you're saying, they're not gonna get their stories out. They might be, their skate history might be forgotten, or people won't know the gaps that it fills. Like these dudes helped so-and-so become so-and-so, and that's where the gap fills in. And it's like, Clyde, you've always had a personality. You've been outgoing, and you killed it on a board. So you had sponsors build up you and build up your personal brand. And there's not a lot, like there's not that many skateboarders that are willing to be outgoing and put it out there, you know? And it's so, to me, for someone like you to want to take on that project and like carry it forward and pay it forward to all these other people, that's exactly what we need right now. Like, to me, that's fucking sick. Cause I've always, like, as a little kid, man, I always wanted to express myself because I have a crazy life story. Like, dad passed away when I was 12, mom, drug addiction. Like, I was getting into skating as therapy. And like, but I also was trying to build identity through it and express myself through skating. I was never into like the trick side and the jock side of things, you know, like where I just like, I didn't ever looked at skating like a sport, like you were saying earlier. It was more like a therapy, friend, community type thing. But I always wanted to learn to express myself through skating some way, you know, just to communicate, because I felt like I had a lot on my mind and on my heart that I needed to get out. And I felt like hopefully skateboarders would understand me. So like, I force myself to be outgoing. Whereas I know a lot of skaters are introverts and they keep to themselves, and skating is their own little thing. So it's good that the people that, such as yourself, that are outgoing enough to speak and articulate enough, build some platforms to share all those stories and all those skaters and share all those perspectives, because they get lost and we might all fall into like chasing the Olympic gold and all that mainstream shit they push on us. So it's nice to have someone that's bringing up the past and putting a spotlight on it to fill in the gaps for everybody, you know?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that, man. It's yeah, I feel like it's kind of like a duty. You know what I mean? It's like I really feel like it's. My friend said it to me the other day, and he was like, he said Malcolm and Martin didn't choose who they wanted to be; the people chose them. And he's like, "You're the chosen one." Now it's just like, it's kind of a hard pill to swallow, but it's like I like that responsibility. You know, like I like being able to encompass everything that I've wanted to do and everything I'm passionate about, and bring it forth to people, and do it the right way and do it my way. I think that's very important, to do it the way that I want to do it. You know, and it's cool. You know, I was able to finally just wait my turn and do it the way I wanted to do it. You know, and it's, if I would have done this anyway with anyone else, I'm pretty sure it would have went a completely different direction. And you know, I just had to wait and take my time and put all of my tools in one box, and here we are. You know, it's like this is just a lot of people don't understand. Like I made a post today about this. This is almost 30 years, or 25 years of like multimedia experience, and just it's all just being able to put it together and do it myself, not for other people. And like, hey, do you think you'll take this interview? Because I've been turned down with a lot of stuff before that I wanted to write about. And you'd be very surprised at a lot of stuff that the magazines have turned away. Like very, very surprised, because they don't want to mess with their bottom dollar, which is cool. But unfortunately, right now, for everyone, the bottom dollar is my dollar. So, that's what's very important. It's like I'm able to speak on things and speak of things because it's not going to hurt my bottom dollar because my bottom dollar is controlled by me.
Yeah,
And like
that independence is crucial.
It's very crucial, So it's like, and I'm already comfortable enough where I am. I don't need. I would love to have more, but I don't need more. So if God forbid if this doesn't take off, I don't expect to make millions of dollars out of it. This is a project I want to do. Like I got my hands full with so much other stuff. I'll be touring, doing the pop-ups, and I got a brand to run and just life in itself, So it's just, I don't think it's easy doing a podcast. Don't take it wrong. I just think it's a good way for me to express what I'd like to do with all of that, instead of putting up a social media post or anything like that. It's like, no, I get to actually do this in real time and share it with people. And that's awesome. I've been getting good feedback and it hasn't even went up yet. So
yeah, it's a privilege. It's amazing that we have the technology where we can connect with each other. Like, as well as anyone going back, it's like before you had to shoot fucking sequences with actual film and video. You had to have a gatekeeper to put you in the video, which, and now it's like we have these powerful tools. We just got to find out we got to find creative ways to use them and express ourselves and connect the dots, and it's awesome. It's a privilege.
And a lot of people, I think that's pretty much what it is using social media to like your advantage almost. It's like, if you can reach this many people, like what do I look like cracking jokes and shit all day online? And I'm like almost 50 years old, dude. Like all that shit is gone, and like most of those people, it's like, I got time to be talking to these like weird little nerds online all day, it's like justifying my opinion. It's like, no one asked you, you a weird clout goblin. Like no one cares what you gotta say. You know what I mean? Like I didn't post this, I didn't ask for your opinion. You know what I mean? This ain't politics. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people need to understand that a lot of those people, they aren't skateboarders. That's why they're offended by a lot of stuff I say. You don't see skateboarders getting offended by stuff I say because they know what time it is. You know what I mean? It's like some dudes the other day all pissy about the culture thing. I'm like, hey, little dude, like Tony Alva and Nodis agrees with me. I don't care what you gotta say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you go argue with your mama? Like, I don't care. It's like, it don't matter what you gotta say because I know I'm in tune with what I'm saying. Like I think before I speak. A lot of people don't do that, and that's a heavy thing. I used to not do that a lot, and that's a little too bad for people now. I think before I speak and think before I post stuff, and it's just and right now I think it's a good time. A lot of people are kind of sitting around and not doing shit. So it's probably a good time to be learning something. You know what I mean? Because I know damn shame people ain't working.
Yeah.
And they don't got no gas to go nowhere. So yeah.
And like you said, man, it's kind of like a perfect fit because everything you've been doing in skateboarding has kind of led to this moment. Like all your skills you've attained, they lend nicely to that format of podcasting radio show. It fits perfect to me. Like when you mentioned it, I was like, yeah, this makes perfect sense. You're outgoing, you're willing to say shit, you got all the connections to talk to people. Like it's a no-brainer to me, man. And for your area locally, like it's a huge thing. You can connect so many dots too, and you open up your area to the outside world of all these bridges, with other people. And it just seems awesome, man. This kind of,
it's going to be, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Actually go ahead. What were you going to say?
I also wanted to, about this show, I wanted to let you know, because I forgot to say this, David Deary, that does Donnell Rawlings podcast. Nice. He's going to be taking on production for mine.
Well, that's it.
So me and Me and Ashley Larry got the same production guy,
Wow.
same management. Yeah.
That's
How
sick.
random is that? Yeah, I got a very
Donnell's
random life.
hilarious too. That's a
He
that's a
is.
good connection.
He's absolutely hilarious, and he's funny, and he's smart.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing. It's like being funny and stupid is one thing, but like being funny and smart and like quick with it is great. You know,
Yeah.
I think he's awesome at what he does, and I've loved him before that, and it was just kind of a by chance thing. I think it came up with the whole Ricky Oyola. Guys like, man, I can set this up, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to that weirdo. You know what I mean? I dude jumped in my DMs. I'm gonna come down and see my Puerto Rican family. It's like, dude, this dude's what, 50 years old? You know what I'm
Easily.
saying? You're 50 years old. You're 50 years old, and people's DMs sending threats.
Oh man.
Like, dog, you're probably like a really good time in the PTA meeting. You know what I'm saying? Like think about that. You know what I mean? Imagine if your dad was like, you know, I just couldn't imagine that. You know, your grandfather when you were a kid was like, I'm gonna beat this dude up on the internet. It was
Yeah.
like just and like the dude's mad over something he said, which is hilarious to me. So, you know, it's just right time to do the internet thing. I mean, to do the podcast thing because you know a lot of stuff's been coming up and it's going to come with a lot of hits, man. It's going to come with the territory is not going to be fun. A lot of people are going to be mad because they know I have access to tell the truth. You know, they're not going to be mad at me. They're going to be mad at what I got to say, and that's just the truth about a lot of things. And a lot of people and things aren't really worth touching up on. You know, and I don't know why people are acting a certain way, but it's whatever. You know?
I think it's because people want to hold you who hold you to who you were or what you said instead of being in the moment and moving forward. Like we got to allow people the chance to grow and move past their story or develop their story, you know? And it's like podcast is moving forward. It's like you can talk about anything. You can explain your perspective and what this was. It's like it's your thing, you know? We need it more because that's all it is nowadays. It's like attack culture where everybody wants to make a name off of destroying someone else. And it's like, fuck off, dude. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. That's part of growth in life and being a human is like, there's new idiots being born every day and they're going to be idiots until they figure it the fuck out. And you got to allow people space and time to make mistakes. And nobody wants to do that anymore. Cause what you call them? Clout goblins. Hilarious, dude. That's fucking perfect. It's like fucking stop trying to gain clout off of someone else's shit and trying to tear them down. Why don't you let them live, but you be so busy building your own fucking life, you don't have time to critique other people. And that shit happens all the time. It's like an American pastime nowadays because everybody's got this technology and they don't have enough skills or enough vision to do something creative and awesome with it. They rather use it to destroy instead of build up, you know? And it's like, we need more people to build shit up. Like use the fucking mind-blowing technology of a microphone and these cameras and connect with people and try to build a future that's better, that we can all help each other instead of the opposite. Like everyone wants to burn the flag. It's like, calm the fuck down, dude. We still got to live here. You know what I mean? Like, and we got to carry
exactly right.
And these kids, man, they need people to like, there's a lot of people that are silenced because of their past or because people want to try to bring up every little fucking thing. And it's like, fuck that. Like allow these people to live, man. People make mistakes.
Yep.
We don't need to fucking we don't need to fucking burn them all down. You know, it's unbelievable. It's sad. It's sad, man.
And see, and kind of going into the thing with Ricky, it's like, I'm all for like people like, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't even coming at dude like he's still da-da-da, but the way he came at me, you know what I'm saying? It's like he came at me because I didn't even mention his name. I mentioned in passing, I was talking about Javante, and it was like, I don't know, it was just weird because I haven't talked to this dude in like 25 years. What's up with that? And so I mentioned to Javante, he's like, man, first he tried to tell me I wasn't there. Or like I'm making it up. And I'm like, dog, I was right there. Like I didn't even say your name. And I was trying to be civil with him. And he's like, oh, man, you know, I just don't want to talk about it. And I was like, all right, man, well, just peace. And then I wrote some shit a couple months later. It was about Django and about freedom. And he was like, man, you know, skateboarding made you who you were. And I was just like, this cocky piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, and I was like, dog, I know what's wrong with this guy. This guy doesn't like black people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how many black people he's known. I don't care. He could skate with Roger Brown to the end of the grave. That does not mean that the mere mention of black people to him drives him crazy. You know what I mean? It literally it had him in my DMs, and then I'm talking about Django and something else, and here comes this dude. So I made the post, and I was like, "Yo, man, look, this is why this guy's mad. You know, he's mad because I've almost mentioned this, da da da." And then Vern comes in. Vern's like, "Yo, man, you know, he jumped on my shit the other day. Was yelling at me, made the whole thing about him, and it was." I was just like, "Yo."
Oh
and
shit,
I think,
Philly beef.
and from what I understand, what it comes from. I mean, I know he's still mad about the Javante shit because he doesn't want to talk about it, but. And I know why he doesn't want to talk about it because he doesn't have to, because I have an interview with him talking about it and I just posted. We'll just say that. So, but with him and all them guys, I guess it's something with Stevie and his crew. And when the photographers used to come in town, he told photographers don't take photos of little dirty ghetto kids. And that's where the name came. Yeah, that's where that. So I'm like, I didn't even notice. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, this dude's like a habitual fucking line stepper. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't some new shit. Like this is like damn dog. Like how many more people have you insulted? And then all these people are coming in, and I'm like, this dude's just a dick. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, here we are. This dude's 50 years old, and he still thinks he's like bullying people. I'm like, then he jumps in my DMs. Then after I was like, hey man, you want to just. And I was like, I mentioned something to him. I was like, hey man, you want to come on a podcast? I made the shit with Rocky and what's his name. Then he jumped in my DMs like 7 days later. Like, you're a fucking fraud. And when I come down, I'm gonna see me and my Puerto Rican families. You're gonna get the real. And I'm like,
yeah, I feel like I feel like his mentality with Philly was always like the old guard. Like he was very protective over the whole, like his identity based around being a street skater in Philly, and like. That's where that comes from. I know dudes like that. Like when I was coming up, we had a bunch of old heads that would get mad at you because you would not skate the ramp the way they wanted you to skate it. And then they would like spit at you or say some bullshit. And you're just like, you're fucking dated, bro. Like you're just, it's,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's coming. You know what I mean? It's coming. Yeah. And so most of those guys, what's really important is what I wanted to get to with that is most of those guys that we grew up skating with like that were big mouths. We would just knock them off on the board. You know what I mean? We'd go to their ramp. We just kill them with the board. You know what I mean? It was like, that's all. And it's like, y'all ain't going to respect my mouth, but y'all going to respect me when I eat you up on this ramp.
Hell yeah.
And Ricky, I think the thing with Ricky and a lot of guys like that, oh shit, I got 20% battery. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I got 20% battery. And the thing with those guys, not to harp on, but like a lot of those older guys, they never really been checked. You know what I mean? And so they feel like it's like, I don't know what to tell that dude, but they dog, like, I'm not one of them dudes. You know what I mean? Like we're from the South. Like we check people that say nigger. And he didn't say it to me, but he tried to talk to me like a chump, which is like, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't talk to him I came to him like a man, like even in the low. And then he tried to get real cocky and was like, me and my people won't come down. So I made a post. I was like, all right, dog, like, how about this? You coming down to see your people? My man's got a ring. Let's just jump in the ring. Like, I'll knock your old ass out. You know what I'm saying? On some real shit. It's like, dog, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just jump in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw the thing. Like, don't you work for UPS or some shit? Like, I know you're looking flabby and sick. Just jump in the ring. That's all you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Like, all you gotta do. I ain't gonna be fighting you in the street because I ain't got time for that shit. You know, I'm a grown ass man. I ain't got time to be meeting you and fighting you and. You know what I'm saying? Let's just knock it out. And like, we could give the money to charity or whatever. You know what I mean? Everybody, oh man, I don't know about that, y'all. And it's like, so what you just want this dude to keep, what you want to happen. You know what I mean? Either we're going to dead it in the ring or he's just going to shut up. That's it. You know,
yo, you should get someone to film that shit, make it like the Rocky movie, like the music and all that shit. Like that'd be hilarious. Dun, 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 dun. You and him in a ring would be fucking amazing. Celebrity death match.
He was supposed to come on the show, and let's just say he's still coming on the show.
Let's hope so, because you guys could battle the shit out in words, you know, like that's a way better way for sure.
Oh, he's coming on the show, probably just not the way he thinks he is.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
should be entertaining.
And I think it'd probably be his cousin Rocky Oyola. but it's gonna be great.
Oh shit.
We got him lined up. It's gonna be great. He's got a lot of words to say. Trust me.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, this is why we have the technology. We can do this type of shit, you know? Like it's
I mean, I'll be down to have him on the show. You know what I mean? But it's like, dude, email me like he hit me up at like 3 in the morning. It's like, damn, dog, am I really living in your head rent free like that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're up at like 3 in the morning, writing me love letters and shit, and my DM, like you trying to date me and shit.
You might be his bridge to skating again. Some people are like so far away from skating that they just like miss it, so then they lash out like that shit. And you're like,
that's what I'm saying, man.
Not the way to do it.
Somebody tell that dude to go kick flip a manhole cover or some shit.
Yeah, start pushing around the city again.
Go do a back tail on somebody's truck or some shit. I ain't got time for that, dude.
Okay, so before I forget, I wanted to kind of bring up Minority Report and talk about how that came to be, and like what were your thoughts, like why did that come to be?
I was there was a bunch of guys who were really good, and you know, skateboarding industry clearly only needs a couple black people at a time, as we can all see. You know what I'm saying? They're like, whoa, that's too many black people on the team. So you know, I figured most of the guys that I'd known, their teams were pretty stacked up, and you know, so I was just like, hey man, the best thing I can do is use my name to showcase these guys' talents. And I had this awesome idea, and at first it was kind of funny, then it turned into a real idea, and it was like, oh God, I'm making a video. And
I know that feeling.
I was like, oh man, I'm making a video now. But it all came together well. It's exactly, I wanted it to be a mixtape of just like, I didn't want it to concentrate on the names. I wanted to concentrate on the skating and the music. That's it. And then I was like, a skater would know who the skaters are. If not, they would watch it to the end and put it together. But that's my vision on it. And it was awesome, man. Like a lot of good people were in it. A lot of guys turned pro since then. It was awesome. You know, it's like, it's good to kind of have to me, it's like, it's important to have those kind of footprints in skateboarding than it is to have, you know, the best-selling shoe and like, you know, one of the best-selling boards and all that. Like that kind of stuff is more important to me because it's more personal to me. You know, it's like I think it's something that I would want when I was growing up, you know, and like unfortunately a lot of guys didn't do that, and that doesn't make any less or any more. You know, like Ron Allen did a good job of putting together, you know, teams like that, and it's just something I've always wanted to do, you know, like I've always wanted to make a video with a token white guy. That's been a dream of mine since I was a kid. And I did it. I can say I did it. And
that's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah,
dude.
I was like, I really want to use my leverage to showcase these guys' talents, but the real agenda behind it was like, dude, I want to make a video with token white guy. I was like, just for once, and it did its job because white people got pissed. Yes.
You're hilarious, bro. Yeah, you want to hear something crazy? Actually, when I told you a little bit about how I grew up, you know, and this is fucked up, but like I always talked about how I was raised in magazines and videos, and I talked about how my mom had like substance abuse issues, and my dad was in a gang. He was in a motorcycle gang, got shot and passed away and stuff. And dude, this is fucked up. Like one time I got on an internet list of the top 10 best black skateboarders. And I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? Like, I'm clearly the whitest dude. Like, I'm pretty white. I got hairy arms, but like.
You beat Rob Welsh?
Yeah, I'd see. So my theory is, and it's a fucked up theory, is that my backstory, they just assumed whoever was like making a list and put me on it, they were just fucking assuming like some fucked up shit. I'm like, that's the only thing I'm like, I don't know. Like, they're not basing it off of a picture of me. That's for damn sure. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I can't quite figure it out, but I ended up getting up on the list though. I was like working hard. I was like sharing that shit on social media. I was like, I'm moving up.
Amazing.
I'm moving up this list. I think I got to like 7th or 6th best black skateboarder there is on the internet on this one poll.
That is amazing. You know, what's the best thing? I love how they played identity politics with me. They were like, let me see. Mom, drugs, gun, death. Yep, he's black.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
I'm getting at. Is nowadays it's a lot of people just trying to play some fucking battles, politics, trying to get clout from just like trying to point shit out. And it's like, calm the fuck down, dude. We can't put each
yeah,
other, all in boxes. It's like, I get it, like there's a lot of fucked up shit in the world and things, but like when you put everyone into different camps and we divide everybody up, eventually you just divide everybody up by an individual, which we should do in the beginning.
exactly.
Judge everybody off of their own personal character, not their skin color or like, it's insane.
Yes.
And we can still
Yeah.
acknowledge that like people of different races and different things have different trials and tribulations and be true about that. But we don't have to pigeonhole
Yes.
everybody into that same box, because it's not like that,
Exactly.
And it's
And
insane.
I'm glad you touched on that, because I see a lot of people doing that with especially with with the Ricky thing. And it's like, and I had to point out to someone, one of his friends hit me up, and I had to point this out to him. And like, they're like, do you really think he's racist? Da, 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 da. And I was like, look, dude, because this is why if he wouldn't have said this, he probably would have got away with it. But he's like, like, we've all said stupid stuff when we were kids. You've heard someone yell like gay slurs. And I was like, all right, dude, look. Saying someone like yelling a gay slur or something, that's prejudice. When you yell the N-word, that's racist. You know what I'm saying? And like, you have to understand the difference in the dynamic in the two. Racism is something that's like, it's like socialism. It's something that's built up. It's a knowledgeable, you have to go through centuries and centuries of stuff. Like, bad words are bad words. But racism, like, that word comes from a racist connotation. And it comes from like, it's not just it's also a hateful word, but it's also a very racist word.
Yeah.
It's like, and a lot of people have to understand the dynamic there. And then I was like, hey dude, I don't think he's racist. I think he did something racist. And also, I don't think he really likes Black people. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's for other people to figure out, but I wouldn't box him into like a David Duke racist thing, because that would be untrue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not in the Klan or nothing, but has he said something racist? Yes. Does he still have problems with Black people? Clearly, yes. So to not acknowledge those two things, but to also be knowledgeable enough to be like, I don't think he's a downright racist, like, would be in a racist organization, because number one, he couldn't be. He's Puerto Rican. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I do think that he doesn't like Black people, and he said something very racist, and he's brushed it off in a magazine. So if you put those three things together, and you sit him next to a racist person, it's not going to look very different. But to myself, I'd be like, I wouldn't put him next to David Duke, but both of them don't like Black people. That's one thing I will say. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they do. If they do, like, I don't know why he would have a problem with, say, Django, a post of Django, or like why he'd be in Vern Laird's comments arguing about something about Lil Stevie on. I'm like, dude, this guy clearly does not like us. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't doing this on Danny Way's wall. You know what I'm saying? He ain't on the All I Need comments doing this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to watch the patterns of people, man. And just like with Ethan Fowler recently, someone tried to box in, like, like Corey Duffel was on Foundation, and I was like, whoa, don't play that, because that's a very dangerous game to play. Is to put the company in there with the dudes. I was like, unless the company comes out and backs him, like, hey man, like, we don't care, we don't like you niggers either. Like, they wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm pretty sure they feel a certain way, but like, you can't back them into a corner and have them speaking for him. That's wrong of you to do, and that takes away from the entire message or the entire thing that's going on. And the entire message is what people aren't getting from the Ethan Fowler thing is that Benny was holding that story for so long. You know what I mean? Like, that is painful to walk around with. I know what that's like to walk around with, to like have something so blatantly racist said to you, and you're just like, there's no one you can talk to, there's no one you can tell. And then years later, you just have the courage to say it to someone. It's like, That's what people are missing out of this. It's not fuck Ethan Fowler. It's not it. Like, I don't care about Ethan Fowler. You know what I mean? Like, Ethan Fowler's probably got, I don't know what he does. I don't really care. People are like, man, you should see his IG. I'm like, I don't care. You know, like, I care about the Benny. That's what I'm talking. Like, it's like people want to overlook the victim and become the victim and then suppress the, it's like, dude, you guys just stay out of this. You know what I mean? Like, this is to demonstrate to you that this is a grown ass man that had to deal with this as a child, you know, and he's been holding this story since a child. No one picks up on the bigger part of the story, and it just takes away from the entire message. That's why, like, as you're saying, like, to box things in so conveniently, you know, you get these people and they're just running off with the mouth, and you're like, will you guys just shut up? You know what I mean? Like, you probably haven't even stood up for the black dishwasher at your job, you know, and here you are online acting like you're like, you know what I mean? You're trying to be fucking Talcum X online, and that shit is like not cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is like you fix your own house. You know what I mean? And this is kind of in-house shit. This is like, a lot of stuff ain't for a lot of people. You know what I mean? And like, that don't mean it's just for black people. It's for people that are knowledgeable and people that know and people that have stuck up for black people in the past and people that know black folks like that have to deal with stuff. And, you know, a lot of these people, they're not very cultured, man. You know, that's why I keep saying culture. Like, you know, Boston is a multicultural place. You know, I'm sure you grew up around all kinds of people up here. You know, I walk around, I see, this ain't North Carolina, dog. You know what I mean? Like, you walk around North Carolina, that shit is like a Travis Tritt concert. You know what I mean? Here you see all kinds of people. I'm like, cool. You know, and I think that's kind of warming, and that, you know, you can see things a lot differently when you're in these environments. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people ain't grow up like this. So they get online, they think, they put that little black thing in their profile picture. They're like, oh, we down now. Like, man, if y'all don't shut the fuck up.
There's a lot of that going on. People just fucking hating themselves and then trying to virtue signal. They hate their own lives and hate everything about themselves, or they think they're trying to be righteous over some bullshit. It's like, these struggles aren't yours. Like, I know you want to defend, and it's not your responsibility to try to like defend my struggles. Like, that's my job.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that's my job, bro.
Like, you know, the black people, Superman and shit. Like
that's hilarious.
Like, man, you gonna put your cape up. Like, we don't need that shit. I mean, you want to help us? Go support a business or something. Some dude the other day was saying something, and like, he's a pretty nice guy. He's always on my line. He's like, yeah, you know, I ain't gonna support Ethan and none of his companies. And I'm just like, dog, like, when you black people don't want to hear that shit. Like, why don't you tell us somebody you're supporting? You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you put your money somewhere instead of putting your mouth somewhere? That's what's more important. You know what I mean? It's like, if you really feel like that, cool, you ain't gonna support him. Show me what you do support. That's what we want to hear. Because, like, you're putting another problem on a problem.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? True. Like, you gotta be smart when you're dealing with the shit like this. And like, a lot of smart people want to jump in and start dealing. It's like, yo, dog, like, please just pipe down. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna make this a lot worse, and you're gonna have people around here saying stuff and doing stuff, like linking me up with you. Like, yeah, Clyde said don't buy Ethan. Like, man, I ain't saying none of that, because I don't even know who that man works for or nothing like that. And I'm pretty sure they don't agree with half the shit they would have read it too. Yeah, and that was a long time ago. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know how he feels now. But one thing I do know is that's to me, it hurt reading that story, because I can identify with that story. It hurt me reading it from Benny's perspective. Not that, man, like, Ethan's a bad guy. It's like, yeah, dude, there's a lot of bad people in this world. But let's talk about this dude. He was a kid when this happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's very important to look on. And like, that dude's probably been walking around so many nights just like that, eating them inside. And like, I know what that feels like, man. So like, that story was a lot more important than just like, fuck Ethan Fowler. Like, nah, dog. Yeah, that has nothing to do with you. Like, yeah, that's cool. Like, this dude is like, and even going back to the Stevie thing, it's like, oh, this is all starting to make sense now. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. You know, it's like, Stevie probably took forever to tell that story on his ESPN doc. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, damn, dog. Like, I'm hearing this shit. I'm like, damn, dog, that's crazy. Like, like, really? Like, that's some mean shit to say.
Shit's wild, bro.
But yeah, you know, I think people have a right. You know, I just quit drinking, so I have no. You know, I'm not the not the growth police. I still got a while to go. I'm only a year and 3 months, three
Yeah,
months deep, and I still got some learning and stuff to do. So I can't fault people for their past. I can fault people for how they act now, and
yeah, true.
that's literally what it comes down to, and like, and a lot of people
Every
can't separate those two.
yeah, every person, every individual has their demons, and we all, life is hard and it's oppressive in nature. Like culture just wants you to conform to get shit done, like that's normal. And life is hard. Like you come into a world you don't understand. You're coming out the vagina into a world you don't understand. And then it all just comes at you. Your senses turn on, and the whole crazy world, every crazy person out there, all of that is broadcasted at you, especially at a young age with all this technology. And it's like, you're in the fucking wild world, Wild West, trying to figure out who you are and develop and all that stuff. And every individual born into this crazy ass world has to navigate that and build identity through that. And like people get pulled in directions and they lose their identity and they subscribe to other people's beliefs. And like the world's wild. We know this. Like our education system is crazy. Our authoritarian police structure at times, there's like that side of it, and then there's every side of everything, and we're privy to all of it. We can see it all now. That technology is a transparent, it's like mirrors. That's why when I first started looking at the phone, I'm like, these are mirrors. They're reflecting who we are and what we are, or whatever we want to show it. Like there's a lot of people a lot of people faking it. Like they're like, ooh, this is my show, and then some people are being authentic. So it's just like we're putting our life force into these wires, these wires, and we're all seeing it for the first time. And it's like so much, man. The life is insane, and now we get to watch it firsthand. And I can't fault anyone for like making mistakes, for sure. And that's awesome that you're working on the drinking thing, man, because that one sinks a lot of people. So where's that, like, I know your phone's probably gonna go, but we'll kind of wrap it up soon. But like how the self-awareness about the drinking, and like how'd you get that under control?
Well, that's pretty easy, man. I went to Tampa not this year, but 2020 I went, and they were releasing my Strange Love board. So, I've been pretty much on the low, just, skating, kind of doing my thing in North Carolina, and I was a chef. So I haven't been at any public events, any skate events for God knows how, since probably the Thrashville contest, 2013. Yeah. That was my last public, I skated there. And skated for a little bit there, hung out with all the people, but I wasn't really doing public things, and besides being on the internet. So I get down there, and I just started having a blast. And next thing I know, the next day, Saturday, I went to the park and started drinking immediately. And the next thing I know, I'm under that bowl in the back, passed out, wasted under the bowl. And dude, and I wake up and there's like 30 to 45 people just standing around fucking taking pictures of me like a safari, like I was a wounded animal. And fucking dude, and I was just wasted, just laying there like and Kareem walks up and he's like, hey man. And like I hadn't seen Kareem in so long that I thought I was like tripping. Yeah. I'm like, yo man. I was like, Kareem? I was like trying to touch his face. I was still so drunk. He's like, hey man, he's like, you come with me. He's like, I'm not gonna let these people laugh at you. And I was like, Kareem? And he's like, get up with me. And he picked me up and carried me and gave me water and fucking got me back. And he's like, man, he's like, you gotta watch who your friends are out here. And ever since that day, man, like I went through the weekend. Sunday, I had a couple more drinks. And then I think Sunday night, man, I just had it. And I was at this fucking apartment. I missed my plane back. And I just fucking had it. And I think I'd gotten COVID, to be honest, dude. Like I was deathly sick for 2 days, and then I flew home Wednesday. And from Sunday to Wednesday, I didn't drink nothing. When I got home, I was living with my buddy Jerry Cooper, and I was like, I'm never drinking again. He's like, all right, man. He's like, whatever you need, I'm right here. Never took a sip. Just kept it going, man. Pandemic hit about a week later. Here's a funny story. I went to AA meeting, looked around and was like, good God, all these people are ugly as hell. I was like, yo, this is like an ugly convention. I was like, I can't be up in here. I was like, man, this should have made me want to drink again. So I went one time, yo, and I got a little coin. I held on to it, and I was like, I never went back. And about a week later, I guess the pandemic hit. And which made it easy for me because it made me realize that I was a completely and like a social drinker. You know, like I'd go like, and a lot of times I'd go to the bar, I'd get my beer, I'd get some weed, I'd sometimes get some blow, go to the bathroom, get all fucked up, and then fucking go home, drink by myself, wake up in the morning, drink on the way to work, drink while I'm at work, like have a couple shots before we open. I'd be like 4 shots deep by 11 o'clock sometimes, and and then once I wasn't doing that, it was like it didn't matter. Like it was like, oh, cool, there's no one to drink with. You know what I mean? Like, and I never really drank at home by myself. I would just bring it home to have it to drink on the way to work, you know, or to like chase that headache in the morning or something. So then I was just like, I'm not about to be sitting up at my crib like drunk or like, I mean, I was just like, that was the last thing I wanted to do. So I started making a garden, and I think a good thing that kept me, the thing that kept me the most like level-headed was I didn't tell anyone for a long time. You know, like I didn't make it like an announcement until like 30 days. And I was like, hey, I just want, and 30 days, dude, that was brutal. That was harder than the whole year anything. But there was just times I'd wake up and I'm like, that and snacks saved my life. Like, you know what I mean? Snacks, that garden and them snacks saved my life. Because from then, man, like, it was a blessing, dude. I was able to start my own thing, doing the pop-ups, and start the ALLiNEEDSKATE, and it's just a huge blessing, man. Everything just rolled in, and I just stayed with it. I stayed 10 toes down with not drinking, and I still smoke some weed here and there. I mean, I still smoke weed clearly, but not as much as I used to, and that's just, it's just I'm a different dude now. Like I feel it. I'm a different dude. I can talk to people. I can look at people and talk to them, and And like, I'm sure of myself when I say things and when I think things. And, that's how I dealt with a lot of anxiety and a lot of pain from growing up. When I was growing up is drinking, that was a lot of my pain from working and knowing like, like I'm better than this, like I'd always tell myself I'm fucking better than being in this restaurant, better than watching this dude shit like some slave and like cooking their food. I'm better than this, like I got better ideas than this. And I know people and I know I can make something shake if I just get out of here. And I say this to everyone: the pandemic helped me. The pandemic helped. It helped me. It helped me discover who I was. I got about 10 more percent. It helped me. It helped me realize who I was. It helped me realize and love myself. And it helped me just gain my sense of self. That I've never ever had. I've been drinking since I was 15 years old, man. So I never had my hat on tight as much as I always thought I did. And last year's just been beautiful, man. It's it's a blessing, dude. It's a blessing. So, just stay blessed, stay humble, and that's all, that's how you gotta do it out here. Keep putting out that good work and stay blessed, stay humble. That's all I want to do.
That's so awesome to hear, man, because these are people struggle with this stuff their whole life and never escape it. It's amazing to hear that you've like realize the gifts you have, because like ultimately you have all you need, like you have your perceptions, you can hear, you can see, you can feel, and like a lot of that drug stuff is to run away from the responsibility of what you do with those things. And we all do that. Like that's part of growing up, and like some people never escape it. It buries them. Me and you both know people that got buried by drinking or alcohol or drugs or whatever their vices buried them. It's hard to wake up every day because life is long and you got to deal with yourself and figure out what to do with your time and your gifts, and it's awesome to hear that you're on that, you got that going, that you're on the right path. It's fucking awesome. And I'm really stoked for the things to come, man. If you can, before we go, could you just tell people where the first episode's going to be and how to check it all out for your podcast?
Well, the first episode might have to wait until tomorrow or Tuesday because I just dropped my earphone thing to the sewer.
It's on your schedule. That's the beauty of your show. Is you put it out when you put it out,
Yeah, I told Ron I would call him today, but I'll probably interview Ron, if not tomorrow, maybe even tonight. I might have to squeeze somewhere, go get some charger.
Yeah.
But it's going to be on this week. I'd love to get it up by Tuesday. I'd really love to use that going up on a Tuesday. Like I want to use that as like my episode thing,
That's
so I'd
dope.
love it to be up by Tuesday. Like I said, time permitting, all I got to really do is do the audio and, and something like this, you know what I mean? Like, and just jump on the phone with him and that's it, man. It's kind of nerve wracking, but doing this is like, I'm like, oh, cool. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm not so nervous. So, I mean, you can find it on, you can find it on Anchor. It's under my name, Clyde Singleton. My Anchor thing is under Clyde Singleton, but it's called WCRP on skateboarding. You can find it on Anchor. You can find it on Google. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Apple. A couple more podcasting. If you go to my Anchor profile, just type in WCRP on Anchor. It'll show you where all the listings are there. And I got a little promo up there right now. Sounds like an old wrestling promo. It's pretty dope. It's actually Clyde Smith from Ghostface.
What?
And, yeah, man. So just getting this thing rolling, man, and getting that rolling. That's it. Got a contest coming up down in Virginia next month. Starting to put that together, doing something for Juneteenth.
Yeah,
So that's going to be exciting, and
definitely,
man, just keeping the ball rolling.
Definitely, I want to help out with that contest. So send me an email, and I'll send some product or whatever I can, and I'll also help promote. I'll put the link to your podcast in the description of this episode. So if you want to hear more from Clyde as he goes on his journey with his show, it'll be in the description. You can just click there or go right to there. You subscribe to all of it. So
yeah, man. Let's get to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I really appreciate you coming on and doing my show, and just like I appreciate everything you've done for skateboarding, man. Because I've been a little kid who like had a lot of issues, and watching you skate and express yourself through writing and like build a career and everything you've done like has inspired me. So thanks, man. Just want to get that out.
Man. It's and no, thank you, man. Thank you for having me on. And I'm a huge fan of yours, and I love the kickflip into the bank. Like I watch everything. Don't trip, dude. People don't, dude. You know what I was watching before we get up here? I was the biggest fan of Braille skateboarding and NKA videos when I was the last, like, before I quit drinking. There was just this 6 or 8 month thing where I was just like so into skating, and I would just watch Braille videos and NKA videos like it was nobody's business. Like I know all of their videos, and it's just like, so people don't think, man, I'm a huge skateboard nerd. Like I watch all the new videos. I watch all you guys' clips. Like, don't think nothing's getting away from me.
Dope. That's so dope. That helps keep me the fire lit here, man. Because sometimes you feel isolated and by yourself, So it helps to hear that. So thanks, man.
Yeah, let's try to get up and skate while I'm here, man. And I definitely want to get you on the podcast too if you're down.
Oh, definitely. And I live in Plainville, which is outside Boston a little bit, but we also have Skater's Edge, huge indoor skate park here. I know all the spots to skate, so I know a bunch of fun parks we can go shred if you're free. So for sure.
Oh, dude, hell yeah! Let's definitely get up. Let's do it, Chatter Boys.
Yeah, hell yeah! All right, Clyde. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate everything. Keep killing it, my G.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. You have a beautiful afternoon. All right.